What's up, everybody? This is the Brownwater Banter podcast. I am Jared Seymour, and I'm here with a bunch of cool cats today. I'll go around the table, let everybody introduce themselves. Starting with you, Mr. Corey Redcap.
I'm Corey Redcap.
You fish occasionally.
Yes.
This is my
Joey Cates.
and you fish occasionally. And the guest of honor tonight,
Jeremy McHugh with Stillwater Fishing Charters.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Let's get right into it and start talking about your fishing charter, man. How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing it for 10 long years.
Damn. You can feel the pain in that.
Yeah.
How is it running a fishing charter, man? I know, Joe, you wanted to. You're talking about wanting to do that one day, right?
No, well, this summer I'm sea school, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Is it tough business to be in?
Man, it is. But if you can make it 3 years, then you can make it. It's kind of hard. It's no offense there, wanting to do it. It's American dream.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of startups every year.
Yep.
There's a bunch of people wanting to do it, and I get it. But to do it full time,
That's
you
the
got to
hard part.
grind.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
And when you say that, what does that mean? Does that mean promotion, marketing yourself?
Exactly.
Okay, to get customers in, right?
Yeah. You got to produce too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you definitely got to make yourself stand out, I'm sure, if there's that many.
There, I saw some fishing, like charter boat captain memes floating around on the internet, dude. And they got some good ones,
Yeah.
like when are we gonna catch fish? And they're hilarious. I'm sure you have to deal with a ton of shit
Absolutely.
dealing with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's my passion. It's what I've wanted to do since I can remember.
Nice.
Getting on the water. We got a lot of things going finally. 10
Hell
years
yeah.
in, it's finally starting to pay off a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. What you also have your captain's license too, right? For
Yeah.
larger vessels than just center
got
console fishing boats, right?
Yeah, I have a 100-ton captain's license that I acquired on chandelier boats. I ran chandelier boats for 6-7 years. Worked on 2 different ones, Southern Belle and Southern Way. Got a lot of experience. There's actually a few old-time guides that did that same course. So worked out there, learned the ropes a little bit, and came back and started your own.
Okay, so you started the fishing charter after the.
Actually, it was halfway. Started it part-time, and then I went into full-time after I stopped working out there.
Okay, all right, cool. Now you do something a little bit different. Joey and I, we were talking about this before you got here, right? You target a different fish that not everybody targets. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
so.
I mean, the tarpon, you always hear the stories of tarpon in Mississippi, but you never hear somebody targeting them and having the success you're having with the tarpon, correct?
Correct. I don't know really of hardly anybody that actually targets them, full time.
Yeah,
Right.
Anyways,
Like main focus.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a bucket list fish for most people. Most people think they're unicorns,
Right.
But we have an amazing fishery here.
Of tarpon?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So when you think like
absolutely.
Mississippi, Gulf of Mexico, speckled trout, redfish, right?
Well,
White trout.
When most people when you hear the tarpon stories, it's always I'm wade fishing with my trout rod and I hook one and it stays on there for about 2 seconds and it's gone.
Yeah. So
That's most of the horror stories.
it's a quick story. A little bit of the background how we got into it was one of my buddies that works with us, Captain Mark. Me and him and a couple other guys were at Flatboat 10 years ago, I think.
Okay.
And he was using a Corrado or Cronarch reel trout fishing.
Right.
Hooked one. I think he had like half a spool left at that time too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he's down the key and he hooks a tarpon and he's yelling at me to go back and get the boat. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's absolutely no way you're going to land this fish. So it was my dad and another guy. I truffle shuffle all the way back, get the boat, which is probably 200 yards away. Stringer of trout on my side.
Yeah.
Throw them in, get the T-bar up, get my dad's big butt in, get our other guy, and then we go out and get Mark, and he's chest deep still fighting this tarpon.
Wow.
And we got him in the boat. Finally got him in the boat. He was a little bigger at the time. It was funny. So he rolled in the boat with the pole, fought it till after dark. So it was about a 3-hour fight.
Woo.
Yeah.
On a trout rod.
On a
Damn,
trout
rod.
dude,
Even got that
that's
thing in.
legit.
But the cool thing was about a month prior to that, I jumped one. So that's the first time I'd ever seen one. And my dad was out there too.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that was a tarpon. It blocked out the sun. And then I had a topwater on. I saw that topwater just rainbow effect over my
Pop
head.
out,
yeah.
And that's something I'll always remember.
So I
Yeah.
was watching the video that you did on Heading South.
Yeah,
Okay, and that fish has a massive head shake, almost like a marlin or something,
They
right?
almost break their back when they do
Right,
that
right,
sometimes.
right,
Some
right.
people
Completely
think
out of the
they actually
water.
do.
So that obviously plays a part of why they're harder to catch, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. They can only get hooked in a couple spots in their mouth. Their mouth's really tough. It's bony
bone,
and
yeah.
like sandpaper.
Huh.
But man, that fish is it's just incredible.
So he landed it after 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Man.
would y'all do something different to target these fish, like without giving away any secrets? I mean, is it just?
That's kind of I was going to ask what made you
Yeah, I mean, obviously-
specifically go after them. Yeah.
So man, I could go so far in depth.
Let's go. We got nothing
Let's
but
get
time.
it.
Yeah.
So let's see, where do you even start? Well, after that, let's see, that was right when we were starting our charter business. So life got in the way. We always liked it. We thought that was a done deal. We
Yeah.
got that finished, accomplished
Yeah,
under our
called
belt.
Tarpon,
You
Mississippi
know,
Boy,
yeah. Never thought that we would actually be where we are today. So I stopped guiding for one summer, and it was awesome. An awesome opportunity I got to go down to South Louisiana and work with a marlin fishing boat.
Right.
And so we traveled. We did the Blue Marlin circuit. I wasn't on the tournament team, but I was just like a sub in. I'd help them prep and everything, and I got to run some trips with them after the season was over. But that opportunity and meeting the captain on that boat was almost life changing, and I got tons and tons of friends from then. So we got to marlin fish, and we come back, and we're at a Grand Isle on a houseboat. And one morning, the owner I was working for, he was like, "Hey, go down to this guy's house, and y'all are going tarpon fishing. He needs a buddy." So Mr. David Prevost, it was his name. I run down there, and to be honest with you, that morning we had partied a little bit the night before,
Sluggish.
and I was a little sluggish. But when I heard tarpon, I was like,
Perked up a
"Man,
little
yeah."
bit.
So I run down there. Don't know this guy. He's in his early 60s, I think. We go out tarpon fishing, and that trip literally changed my entire fishing career. You know, so David Prevost holds it's a 246-pound tarpon. It's the largest tarpon in North America.
Wow.
So
what's up.
I didn't know that this
You
guy
called
That was
Louisiana?
for Louisiana and North
Oh, wow.
America,
North America.
record.
That was my next
Wow.
question. Like, did you know that before you
No.
went out with the guy? No.
Absolutely not. It's funny. Mr. Prevost just bought a house here on the coast.
Okay,
To
smart
come
man.
tarpon
Smart
fish
man.
here.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
So
when
we've
you
been
think of
friends
the-
ever since.
When you think of the tarpon run, you think of Florida. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? All
absolutely.
these big schools chasing these mullet, and you don't think Mississippi,
No.
Louisiana, you don't think any of that.
No, Louisiana, they have it was crazy going over there and see the amount of tarpon they had, and I never thought that I would see that on the coast.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking. Nobody else is looking
Right.
for them.
Yeah,
They're here. They're just.
If
you
you're
can't
not
find
looking
them.
for them, you're not gonna see them.
So this is strictly a trophy fish too, right?
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
sport
edible.
fish.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing but
Okay.
muscle, nothing but
catch it
bone.
picture.
Yeah, right. And so when you say nobody's looking for them, nobody's targeted them when they fish, right?
Yeah, you can't go trout fishing and then you can. It happens.
Right.
So to tarpon fish, I throw all the trout poles in the shed.
Okay.
I'm going after tarpon. That's what we're doing from sun up to sundown, or
Okay.
however long. That's it.
Right.
You know, we're going to catch a tarpon. It takes a lot of time. You prep more than you actually fish. A lot goes into it because when you're out there, you have to cover a lot of miles. You got to have your gear in check. You know, it's an offshore style fish in inshore waters. So
You got to bring the good stuff.
you got to bring the good
heavy
stuff.
Tackle, yeah.
Heavy tackle. You got to have all your lines and leaders and everything correctly rigged. That's the worst feeling is if you hook one
And snap. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
About
it
10
snaps because
seconds.
of user error.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Now is it kind of like cobia fishing where you sit on a bar and wait, or is it kind of like finding points, or how's that work?
Man, there's a bunch of different style of tarpon fishing. You know, fly fishing, drifting over flats, open water fishing.
Right.
I'm more of an open water fisherman. I'm doing a lot of trolling,
Yeah.
but I'm trolling on my trolling motor,
Right.
not on my main engine.
okay.
Open water fish or anywhere, they're very scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very spooky, so you gotta got to get upwind from them. You got to drift down into them.
You're almost trolling for trout.
Yeah. So
Just
you
with
get, and
heavy
then
gear.
after you drift out of them, you need to keep drifting for another quarter mile before you start up and turn around and go back, or they're going to move. They're quick.
Spook. Yeah.
So, and we're casting a lot to them. I always have lines out the back with whatever style baits or live bait, whatever
Okay.
I'm thinking they're feeding on. But a lot of it is sight casting. That's why I put that tower on my boat this year. You spot them. You can catch them when you don't see them, but it's rare. You can use your sonar or whatever and try to mark them sometimes, some place that you think they might be. But most of the time, you're going to visually see them. You know, popping up in
Rolling.
slicks, you know.
Yeah.
How many times have you people run out to, you know, Freemason or Curlew, and you pass these big slicks in open water? And
What is
you're
it?
just like,
Yeah.
well, what is that? Oh, it's ladyfish. Well, sometimes if you
Right.
slow that boat down and you sit there for 10 minutes, you know, who's going to do that? Nobody is.
Yeah, they're gonna go where they're going.
It's an instant gratification world.
Right,
And
right.
Trying to
Yeah,
catch
you're right
trout.
about
they
that.
want to
Trying
go
get where you
fill
wanna
the
get.
box.
Right.
So it's why it's the number 2 sport fish in the world is
Right.
tarpon.
Because of the work required
Yes.
to get to
It's
it.
a-
Okay.
It's a lot of work.
What's the number one?
Blue marlin.
That's what I
Blue
thought.
marlin, yeah.
That's what I
I'm
thought.
pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Blue or
I would,
black.
yeah. Marlin in general.
Yeah.
Now you let's go back real quick to the guy that holds the record in Louisiana that you went fishing with first. Did he kind of take you under his wing and teach you kind of how to hunt? Literally, you're hunting, right?
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
hunting.
You are.
Yeah.
Man, Mr. David is the biggest influence ever. That dude is awesome. He's it's weird that you'd be best friends with somebody your dad's age and talk to him every day.
Well, like you said, you'd never met him until that day, and it was, you know, and they did all this, so that's awesome.
He is. We are on the phone 3 hours a day during tarpon season, throughout the winter sometimes too. He's telling me all the techniques, every little thing.
He's the sensei.
He
That's
wants.
it, yeah.
He
I mean,
wants
yeah.
to see. Yeah, he is.
Mr. Miyagi, right?
It's amazing, and his passion at his age, he's been doing it for 30 plus years, and when I'm with him and I see that guy on the bow of the boat slinging lures,
Like a kid. He's like a kid again.
He'll outlast all my friends
Yeah.
doing it. And when he jumps one, the look in his eye and the laugh in his face is the same as
He's
the
still
first
got
time
it, yeah.
you know,
It's still
morning.
enjoyable.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Christmas
still
morning.
enjoyable for him.
you don't
Absolutely.
know when the next one's going to be. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
If you're in a school of trout, then the bite stops. More than likely, you can go and find another bite
Yeah,
somewhere
you're gonna
else.
find another trout
You
somewhere.
know.
I could not, but go ahead. I know what you
I
mean.
have not.
A tarpon's once a day. Yeah,
yeah.
if that.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, but Mr. David, he's been awesome. You know, nobody told me where to go in Mississippi, and that's one thing that I'm proud of. Me and my buddies that kind of figured it out. Nobody told us where to go. However, I did learn how to tarpon fish in Louisiana under
Gotcha.
Mr. David, some of the other guys over there too, and Mr. Lance. Other than that, I mean, we've pretty much figured it out. The first year I came back here, I think it was 2017, and I went out looking. I spent about 10 to 15 days, didn't have much success. I hooked one, went back, never saw him again, and I was kind of gave up hope. The following year, I went out 86 days pretty much straight.
Damn.
Looking for tarpon.
Yeah. I took a pay cut in my charters because tarpon season's July, August, and September.
Damn, dude, that's like your prime time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Took the whole shebang off. Just
Took
looking
it.
for tarpon.
I would run some trips, and it's funny because when we had locals that just didn't really care, they wanted to catch fish.
Yeah.
Got people from the casinos and the families. So I'd bring them out there, and I was tarpon fishing. They just didn't know I was.
Y'all catch these white
And
trout and
we would-
Kroger.
Oh, so you're catching other
We're
fish.
catching other
Okay,
fish.
okay.
You catch a shark, a jack, bull red,
Yeah.
whatever, man. Just to pull, get on my seat. Just
That's
fell, my
okay.
bad.
That's all good.
And I had a little success. I started jumping a few and hooking some, and I still didn't have it down. But after that, I don't know, halfway through that season, I changed up my technique quite a bit.
Okay.
And I caught 11 in August.
Damn.
It's pretty
Damn.
legit.
Yeah.
In Mississippi waters. That's
Yes.
legit.
Yeah.
Are they less prevalent here, or like you said earlier, just no one's
Nobody's,
trying
yeah.
and putting
I
the
don't
time
think
in?
anybody's. I mean, I know they're here.
So their numbers may be here,
This-
but they're just not being.
My grandpa used to tell me all the time about all the tarpon he caught behind Cat Island.
Yeah.
And I fished Cat Island summers. never seen one, never caught one. This big hole behind Cat Island. Where's it at, Grandpa? There's no GPS numbers.
What's
there
the GPS,
isn't.
Grandpa?
Show it to
Just
me
type
on
in
the
big
map.
hole.
Yeah, can you
There
show it to
wasn't.
me on the map? No, it's just a big hole
Yeah.
behind Cat Island. Okay.
Well, they used to have the Goose Point Tarpon Club at Cat
Right.
Island at overlook Smuggler's Cove.
Right.
You also by Ship Island. The Biloxi fleet, they come across them every now and then, and Horn too.
It's usually
but they're usually just out of the traffic range.
Right. They're just enough offshore so you can't get to them.
Yeah. So
And the ones that do come in, they're you hook them with your trout rod, and it's
they're off of
over.
the beaten path. So you got everywhere where you go. If you're going behind ship and you're not just going to fish in open water, you're usually going a direct path to Freemason or Chandelier.
Right.
Right. So what if you just went a couple degrees the other way? Out into open water.
Yeah.
It's the unknown. You
always
got to venture around and you got to burn fuel.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's
always-
probably where a lot of people, you lose a lot of people is
Yeah.
the burning
I always
fuel. They
wonder
don't wanna
about
do it.
that. I think throughout like the fishing community, everybody kind of has their own little honey holes, but a lot of it is, I think, a lot of overlap, right? A lot of people fishing the same wrecks,
Well,
the same.
yeah,
over
It's
and
got
over.
even worse with like social media and stuff. So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, where's this guy?" Looking at pictures and
Oh, like
Yeah.
triangular.
Yeah.
shit. Wow, that's
like the
cool.
angle of the
yeah.
trees
Something
and
in the
everything
background,
else.
like,
Yeah.
all right.
But I wonder, like what you say, like I don't know, you're doing it for tarpon, but how many people are out there like old school, like hunting for new spots?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all these fish are just chilling on these spots, like, haha, to hell with you guys. You don't know we're over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and the islands have changed a ton,
Quite a
even in the
bit.
past 2 years, especially
Yeah.
Ship Island. Ship Island
Yeah.
is
Absolutely.
going crazy. You
You're
know what I'm
running
saying?
over land.
Right. I mean,
on
you follow your
GPS.
GPS, you're
Yeah.
going to run right through the island because
Yeah.
it's solid sand now. Phil and Camille Cut and everything
Okay.
like that.
We need to
So,
update that shit. Whoever's listening, what are y'all doing?
Google.
Garmin.
Yeah. Way to go, Garmin.
The west
Shit
tip
on
of
that
Cat
one.
Island, the same way.
Right,
You're,
same
you're
way.
running and you're in 6
Yeah.
foot of water, but it's showing
There
land
goes
on
that
your
sponsorship.
GPS.
Yeah, we're done with that
There
one
goes
for
that
sure.
Garmin sponsorship. So,
All right, I'm
so-
with Simrad.
Yeah, right. So you get your technique down. You come back here. You start hunting this area. You got your game tight in what, 3 months? Would you say?
Man, it was a crash course. So think about this. You go and do something for 86 days, you're going to
Yeah.
get pretty good at it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
There's
yeah.
probably
I've
there's
done a lot of
probably
stuff for 86 days and I'm terrible at it.
a hobby.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Right.
No, but I mean,
It sounds like more like you were told yourself, I'm going to go catch this.
yeah,
And
yeah.
just went out there and
I
did
wasn't
it.
going to quit because
Yeah.
I saw the potential in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I would, honestly, I didn't know if I could ever really charter it, and have
I gotcha.
success there. I didn't know if our fishery was strong enough to be able to market it and pull people here.
Was the want already
tarpon.
there? Was there already? You
People-
said number 2 fish.
yeah, people
number
wanna
export
catch it.
fish,
Yeah,
so
they
okay.
want to.
It's for that picture.
They go
Right.
crazy.
But
at
they're
it,
not thinking
you know?
Mississippi when they're
It's
looking
just
to
not-
book that
yeah,
charter,
I mean,
right?
You think of Florida. for the
Everywhere
tarpon.
else but
Yeah,
Mississippi.
yeah, you don't think of
Texas,
Missi-
Florida.
yeah.
So how do you bust into that once you get your game tight, right? Once you like, okay, I know I'm confident enough to bring somebody out and catch one of these fish, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you had to get there
absolutely.
first. Then, so how do you market that? What did you do?
That's why I'm here.
He's marketing as we speak.
So you're still doing it. So you're
I'm
still
just-
doing it. Okay.
I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Right.
No, man, I want to see Mississippi as a tarpon destination.
Yeah,
It's only going
yeah.
to help the coast. But what I'm afraid of is that brings me back to that instant gratification of locals and other maybe charter captains or whoever else wanting to do it immediately and not putting in the time and effort.
Right, that you did.
Reading, learning, staying quiet, the patience. It takes, dude, those days are crazy. I'd send Snapchats to some of my friends that'd check on me to see if I was all right. Some of the weird stuff I was
Better
doing.
watch that. There ain't no geotagging on that Snapchat
Yeah.
shit. I don't know how that works. But no, I mean, that's good for you, though,
Yeah.
right? Because if they're not willing to put in the time and the effort, then to hell with them, right? I mean,
Well-
honestly. And then you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, that
and
puts you up here.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're doing something that nobody else is doing. on
No,
the
I mean,
coast.
yeah, I want to see a bunch of them caught here.
Okay.
It's, but like I said, I want them to do it the right way. I'm not God's gift to fishing.
Right.
No, but-
I got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Put in work.
Yeah.
You do your homework.
You
Eventually,
just-
it's going to pay off.
You don't want to put in that much work and then go out there and have somebody tell you and then just blow through the scene of some fish that you've been working for.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
two or
yeah.
three drifts. 2 or 3 drifts could take 2 hours.
Yeah.
Drifting and getting them.
And you're saying you don't want another boat to show
Yeah,
up and
yeah,
like
yeah,
shit,
I
shit
mean,
all over that?
Shadow you.
You get a boat if you're drifting in and you're here. that boat could come and just cut you off, and you're in open water.
Because you're drifting.
Yeah, you're drifting. They don't know the routine.
Okay.
You know.
But you're kind of off the beaten path a little bit, right?
Yeah.
In other words, you shouldn't have somebody darting a ship island coming right through where you're at, hopefully, right?
Man,
I mean, I'm sure it changes every day, but you know what I mean.
it changes every day. You're going to have people.
Yeah.
Do. I see
Follow
people
you,
quite
no
a lot.
doubt.
Yeah.
They probably follow you from the launch.
Yeah, I mean,
They see your
they'll see
boat.
you.
That's a shitty move right there,
Well,
right?
I mean,
People do
it hasn't, no doubt.
It's I want them to try to, this is kind of why I'm here too. You
Yeah.
know, let them. They need to learn a little bit, and everybody can have success.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if you're sitting out there? I'm stingy. I want to be the only boat out there, anyways. But I know I can't be.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it would be really cool if you're seeing a bunch of tarpon jump and caught. It's beautiful when they come out the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people's doing it all the right way,
Right.
there's enough to go around. But
Plenty.
if everybody,
Does it the right
That
way.
comes back down to
It's-
like
nobody's catching.
etiquette on the water.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right, and I don't
Absolutely.
know. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
It's
I
tough.
think it's good. I mean, just not from a fishing or charter boat captain perspective, but at least like just me recreationally being out there and riding around. I
Yeah.
feel like people try to be nice. I don't know.
You're always going to
Yeah.
have the one or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
excluding all of your massive holidays.
But the difference
Yeah.
is that I think the difference is
Air shows.
the
Yes.
one. Or,
yes,
there's
yes.
not a whole lot of people bumping out that far who don't have just a little bit of common sense. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Most of them stay
I'm sure it's
inshore within the
like a
island.
community too with most of y'all. I would imagine.
Yeah.
That there's guys y'all all know
Yeah.
what you're out there doing.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty much been out there, especially with the TV show. But we actually, I mean, the tarpon that we saw, it's incredible. I don't know if it was like that, 10 years ago or not, if they're making a comeback. That's why we're studying with that with the Gulf
I
Coast
got you.
Research
I got
Lab.
you.
You say the Gulf Coast, but have you seen the Mississippi State?
Yeah,
The one that they do,
absolutely.
they tag them in
Yeah.
Alabama, the
Yeah.
deep sea rodeo, and they put tags on them.
Yeah, my buddies
And-
Cam and Kane, they go out there and do that with them.
Cam Roberts and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all them. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they tag them in Alabama and they run. It looks
Straight
like,
around.
It looks like on the backside of Horn Island, straight by
Yeah.
ship, down Cat,
Yeah,
and then
and
some of them
then
go to
straight up.
Pontchartrain and they head down to Venice.
Yeah.
and they're all sitting down there.
It's funny. So when that map came out, my buddy called me instantly, and he was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, because
Oh,
when
no.
I saw it,
Oh, they published that.
They
it's
published
on, yeah,
it.
It's on
Yeah.
everything.
Well, it's
yeah.
research, right?
But-
Right.
And
No.
they actually had a tag missing
Yeah.
on Ship Island.
Yeah.
And me and you were out there that same day.
Okay.
And they put, I emailed, hey, what's the coordinate? They were like, we're giving you a reward if you find the tarpon tag.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me the reward, and I took off down the island trying to find that tarpon tag, but they never found it. I don't think. I don't know if they had a bad reading or what it was. It was the day we were at Ship Island.
Yeah. But you're saying the tag came out or something?
The tag
Yeah.
fell off the tarpon. Yeah, they tagged
I heard
him-
about that.
They tagged it in Alabama at the deep sea rodeo, and it came down. And it actually went inside Ship Island. Usually they stay on the backside of the islands, but this one actually went in Ship Island.
Okay.
And the tag came out inside Ship
So
Island.
they can tell that.
They
Well,
knew,
it just
they
wasn't
knew where,
moving, yeah.
They knew where the last ping was on the GPS.
Gotcha.
And they were like, if you find this tag, we'll give you blah 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 blah. blah. I mean, it wasn't a reward. I just wanted to find it. You know, it'd be cool to
I was
find
going to
it.
say, no wonder I'm only hearing about it right now.
Look at
Not while we were out there. on
It's
the
like
island
$3,000
out
to
there.
find
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's like, I'll be back in a minute, man. Let me go do this. So they publish all that information, and I understand learning more about the fish from a DMR standpoint or whatever like that. But then they publish that. That's kind of tough, because then, like you're saying, I mean, you want more charter boat people targeting them, but there's a balance there, I'm sure, right, between people just gunning them if they can. There's still skill involved,
Yeah.
though, right?
Well, like
No.
he said too, the proper equipment. And
Yeah.
some of those guys that are going to shoot out there and think they're going to get one aren't going to be
Yeah.
completely ready for that.
Well, when that came out, I wasn't ready because I didn't have enough experience under my belt.
Right.
So I was like, oh man, now there's gonna be influx of boats trying to go where those lines
pings
were.
are,
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I think that was last year when they started doing it, and I was just on the verge of a breakthrough, and it's like, but it didn't happen. So
There you
know?
go. You'd be amazed if it takes a little work, though.
and, well, people-
that calls a
Yeah.
lot
Well,
of
that's
people
just
out.
it. Like he said, it goes back to the instant gratification. And people are like, I'd go, but I got to do all this other
Yeah.
stuff.
You got to have time to put the work in.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's another thing, like you've already mentioned, though, too, right? If we're talking strictly charter boat captains, right? How do you convince the paying customer? It's like, hey, let's go out here and fight for a whole day, and you're not guaranteed even one fish, even to see one fish. Is that correct? I mean,
Right.
obviously you're doing probably better because you're better at it right now because you've been doing it. But that's probably a tough sell, right?
Yeah, it is. So that's why
I want to
started.
catch specks,
yeah.
right? You know, that's me. That's me.
That's me too.
That's me.
That's why I started this year. In July, I am not taking any charters other than Tarpon charters. July, August, and September, I was giving them away. I will take my Tarpon charters and slowly build my clientele that way. Just trying to appeal to the Tarpon angler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever he may be from,
that's cool.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's my passion. It's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And why I want to do it like that is because I'm infatuated with them, one. But two, man, I almost wanted to give up guiding back in the day when about 4 or 5 years in, because speckled trout fishing year round, it was taking the joy away. That's what got me into it, was trophy trout fishing, speckled trout fishing. I've caught, dude, I don't even know how many trout over 5 pounds, 5, 6, and up to 7 pounds. And when you start to lose count of 5-pounders,
Yeah, it's not as cool.
it's
as it
not
used
as
to be.
Yeah.
special anymore. And I needed that something to break it up. So now I'm
Get you back
raging.
excited about
I'm
the
raging
game,
for
yeah.
speckled trout. I can't wait for the winter to try to get a big speck.
Yeah.
Come April, May, June, I'm ready to go speckled trout fishing again and redfish, and then tarpon fish, and then back.
So mixing it up,
Yeah,
it keeps
mix
it
it
keeps
up.
it new.
Keeps it new, yeah.
Got to.
Yeah.
But tell us the tarpon, is it a recognized fish in Mississippi as far as lengths, bag limits, stuff like that? Is it actually recognized in Mississippi for that purpose?
There wasn't we actually had a big hand in getting some regulations put in place.
Okay.
Right.
They had tarpon, they have no tarpon regulations.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, we worked with the research lab, a couple other guys, and we came up with some tarpon regulations that we put in place, 75 inches to the fork. That was the previous state record, was, 75-inch fish,
And
what it
that's
weighed
to-
out to be.
That's to keep a fish.
That's if you ever want to keep one.
Right.
So here comes that controversial subject right here.
Right.
Should you ever kill one or not?
Right.
It's the guys in Florida. They'll hang you up to dry if you.
You can't even
if
take them out of the water there, right? You
Oh,
got to
hardly
take
at
a
all.
picture.
So
Yeah.
see, we mentioned that before
Yeah,
you got here. He was
yeah.
telling. So that's only in Florida.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he's the expert, but I'm taking it. They catch enough to where, I mean, they have to have a limit, like in speckled trout, and have to have
Okay.
a bag limit and stuff like that.
Well,
Here in
they have
Mississippi-
a tag.
Right.
You have to buy a tag if you ever want to
Oh,
kill
so
one.
Like
you catch it,
alligators.
you I got
Like
you.
alligators here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
and you can get one a year, I think.
And if
You
you
want your
want,
tags up your-
if you catch
Damn.
one that's big, you can't even take it out of the water. If I'm right, you can't even put it in a boat.
can't take it completely out of the water over 40 inches.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Oh.
So if you
Over.
want a picture,
Over.
Yeah, if you want
Okay.
a picture with
so
it,
they're
you got
protecting like the larger breeding.
Yeah, so
Fish?
they're very, very delicate. Unfortunately, some of these fish that we catch, I don't think quite make it all the time. Some
Okay.
of them.
Really?
We don't know, but they have a
Yeah.
better chance in the water than they do in the boat.
Gotcha.
Okay,
To make
that
it.
always hurts my feelings when you like snapper
it's-
fishing and you pull them up and you're like, oh, he's not to length, and you do everything you're supposed to do, you vent them and all that, and you watch him float up off the back of the boat, and you can't even go get him.
No.
You know what I mean?
A big shark smashes. them
That's
before they
true.
get
I had
to the
11-inch
bottom.
trout.
Circle of life. Nailed it.
I probably had an 11-inch trout that went belly up the other day, and I was just watching it go by, and I was thinking, God, I need to just
Can we
go
with
grab it,
smartphones?
you
Can
know?
we do? Can we do something about that? Can we
Yeah.
video
No.
this and
Look,
like be like,
if
here?
you videotape
Do
promise
you
it-
see what's happening now?
it's the meat. I want the meat. You know.
But tarpon fishing, I'll get one thing straight. I don't want to see him die at all.
Right,
There's no
right,
reason.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But I also think records were made to be broken.
Correct.
I do.
I'll agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, the way
If you're
we
not first,
set,
you're last.
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. That's
that,
right.
That way, we set the limits to where it has to be an incredibly big fish.
Yeah, that's a giant. That's a monster.
It's a giant, and
Yeah.
I did not think it was going to happen
But
this year.
that's the one that y'all got, right?
Yeah,
that
it
was a
was-
charter
So-
with you.
So that was
yeah,
You're,
so it was
you're
a charter.
segue into that.
Yeah,
so
segue,
you're the
yeah.
new
He holds the record.
He's the
for
man.
state of
Current
Mississippi.
You the tarpon guy.
The captain.
There it is. Yeah.
The captain. We had a
Oh,
client
okay.
catch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Ah,
We
I
actually
got you.
caught one before that, and
But
it
you
was
took him there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I actually convinced them to go
That's
instead
it.
of trout fishing.
He said, "Damn it, let's go."
Wow. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So was that a tournament or anything like that, or it was just a
No,
just
no,
a regular trip?
It was a regular trip. It was.
Hell yeah.
I convinced them to go, and they're like, "Oh, I never." It was actually my landlord. He had a buddy fly in from California,
Okay.
and he was like, "All right, we'll do that." And I was like, "All right, sweet,
You're
let's
like,
go."
shit,
Hope we
It
get
worked.
one.
Yeah, it worked. We caught one 5 minutes in. It was
Oh,
probably
wow.
one of the quickest
What?
times we've ever caught one.
Oh,
Wow.
that dude's burnt.
It was.
He'll
I don't know,
never-
Man. Yeah. It
You
was
know?
probably a 60-pounder, and my landlord he caught the first one. So that guy's was up next. Well, we kept trolling. Usually after I catch one, I'll drift out and run around. But I decided just to keep trolling that day.
Okay.
Trolling and casting, and then we hooked up again. I was like, "Oh man, that's a big one." He came out the water, and I knew. I looked at him. I was like, "Man, that's." I was like, "That's a big fish, man." I usually don't have to crank up and turn the boat around, but I did that time.
Wow.
This
To
guy,
follow him
yeah.
like you do with like a
Yeah,
marlin or
to
something.
follow
Okay.
him,
Yeah.
You usually don't have to. You don't want to crank up when you hook up. You don't. They're gonna make
Because
Because you're in the
Right.
bite, right?
You're in them. They're gonna make a very very long run, but they're gonna stop.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll just go sideways. You just need to free boat them, free fight them. But man, that fish, it was incredible. It came up a couple times, and I was like, I didn't necessarily at all. I didn't want to kill this fish at all. I just wanted to get a look at it
Yeah.
and see it. So
Look at
when I see a fish that big now, I want to put a tape measure on it just to see what it is
Yeah, why
and get the
not?
girth, and then go to the tarpon and bone truss calculator and see how much it weighed.
Right.
So what we did is we finally got that fish along boat side, and I put the tape on it, and it was saying 75 inches. And I was like, dang, that's got to be close to a state record. And I got the girth, and I was like, dang, that's a huge fish, 75 inches, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, man, I'm not really about killing it or whatever. We're going to release it. So
Right.
I had 2 fingers on that fish, 2 fingers in the mouth of it. And we went around for 15 minutes trying to revive this fish. A boat actually came by us trying to revive it. I let go of it a couple times,
Yeah.
and it kept going down and under. And I was like, look, they got to be 75 inches to even put in the boat. So I think I was actually getting like 74 3/4. And I was like,
Step on it.
I'll be hung up to dry.
Yeah.
So I'll be hung up to
Right,
dry.
yeah.
If you lose it over
take
that.
If the
Yeah.
new tarpon guide brings in a illegal tarpon,
shit.
killing a
Yeah.
tarpon first,
Yeah.
and then an illegal
The
one.
illegal one, yeah.
So, it's like,
Got the double whammy for you today, guys.
yeah. So
Bad situation.
I was like, all right, let's put it in the boat, I guess. Put it in the boat, taped it out at 78 inches.
Whoa. Because you had a
Yeah.
better. Because you could measure.
Yeah,
it better.
the tape was flapping in the water.
Yeah.
I'm really jittery
Well, it's a
doing it
big-ass
anyways.
fish, hell,
I haven't
yeah.
seen one that big.
and then the high five start, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
No, not yet. Not yet, because I was like, it was really bittersweet, because at one hand, like I said, I don't have that kill
You
mentality.
don't kill the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really didn't. And then I was like, it hadn't set in yet. So we look at it. I look at in the back. My boat's 8 foot 10 inches wide, and it's taken up. Its head's folding up on one side and the tail the other.
Damn.
And I was like,
Stud.
in the girth of it, its back was just enormous. And so I was like, all right, let's go in. I called Dr. Jim Franks and called the DMR and a couple other guys. We went in, and DMR came down, and a bunch of our family and everything else and friends, and we hung it up. And I was still nervous. I didn't celebrate or anything. I didn't know how I felt about
So you
it
got
just
that
yet.
fish.
Well,
you
see,
know?
so calling DMR, is that something you have to do if you bring
Yeah.
one in?
Yes, for
anyway?
state record, right?
Or
Yeah,
did
for
you
a-
call
for
it
a state record.
because of the
Yeah,
record? Okay,
because of the
okay,
record.
Okay, I got you.
I knew it was going to be close.
Yeah.
You know, my friend Rhett was looking at it. He's like, dude, y'all got that. He's like, don't worry.
What was the record before that?
Oh, man, I should know this. I got brain fart. 167 pounds by Captain Scott Simpson, who is actually been a little bit of my mentor for tarpon on the coast, too.
That was a long time ago.
18 years ago.
You.
Okay.
So 18 years ago, me and my buddy Mark, we were looking at that, and, you know, in the back of our minds, we're like, we want that one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we grew up, we
And
learned a
that's-
little more conservation, and we're like, you know, in the back of my mind, I still kind of wanted it, you know. But like I said, I didn't know how I felt. We put that thing on the scale. One of my buddies from Long Beach, Micah, he lifted that fish up. He couldn't lift it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took two guys. They lifted it up, and man, when it hit 185.
Jesus, so you
High
beat
five
it.
started then.
You beat it by a little bit. You know what I mean?
But I had to walk away, man. I actually had tears in my eyes a little bit. I was like, dude, that's
All that
crazy.
hard work
I was
finally
like,
paid off.
Well, like you said, you put a ton into learning not only what was going on, but
yeah, and
everything about it to do that. It's awesome.
and I didn't feel bad one bit after that.
He's
telling
won a
you.
Super Bowl pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, you celebrate that. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
it doesn't happen. It's once in a lifetime fish. Even though I think I've caught bigger and released them,
Oh,
but
shit.
I'm going.
I bet
even
you
if,
I bet you your tape in the water now is like ninja skills, right?
Well, I'm not going to go after it. It probably will happen again down the road between one of me or one of my buddies. But just to break that record from 18 years and the way we did it, the fashion that we did it, trying to release it,
Yeah.
not sure how I really felt about it.
Release it
Letting it
4
go,
or 5
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Bringing the
grabbing
record
it back.
back to Long Beach Harbor where it was broken before. By a
Oh,
captain,
okay,
yeah,
cool. That's cool.
by
All
a
right.
captain that I worked side by side still, that I looked up to when I was younger.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
That
yeah.
is.
No,
It's built
is-
in there.
And then David Prevost, him holding the record over there in Louisiana, and now my boat has the record here. It's something special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of factors there.
Yeah.
Do you give him any shit like like the targets on your back, sir?
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what
coming
I
to
mean?
Louisiana next.
I got a couple
I'm
more
going-
pounds to.
Yeah, I'm going to Grand Isle next.
I'm Joey, can you grab that bottle right there? Do you mind? In that it's in that cooler, man. We're sipping on a little Jack Daniels out of Crown Royal glasses. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I feel like it's getting a little light over here, so it's we'll put it over here. Yeah, just grab it right there. Yeah. That's killer, man. Yeah, go ahead, refill if you want. I'm not trying to peddle, but so that has to help with the marketing of your charter service, right? I mean, I know you weren't thinking that. I know you weren't thinking that when you were
not
almost
at all.
letting it go, right? But has that helped? How long ago was that, by the way?
Shoot, I should remember the date. Y'all got me all flustered.
It
a
wasn't
okay.
long. It
That's
wasn't
okay.
long
Take your
ago.
time,
It's
take your
couple-
time.
We're all friends here.
Months, right? I
What's
mean,
that? It was
a couple months ago.
July, late July.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
That
go.
wasn't
Early
that long
Well, happy
August.
birthday to me.
Yeah.
Man, that fish, it went to a lot of good use. That's why I didn't feel bad about it later on. You know, I worked with the research lab putting satellite tags in them.
Okay.
We put the first satellite tags ever deployed in Mississippi.
Off y'all.
Us off of my boat last year and this year. So we're researching them. We're figuring them out.
Which in turn is going to turn around and help you with what you're doing.
It's going to help out a lot of people
Yeah.
and help out science too.
Right.
You know, their research.
Science.
Well, I mean, they're tagging triple tail now, where back in the day, not a whole lot of people
Ooh, I
knew.
poured that too much.
That's okay.
Not a whole lot of people knew or targeted triple tail, and now everybody's targeting
Yeah.
triple tail. Hopefully for you, it doesn't
Yeah.
turn into we got tarpon, we tag tarpon. Now everybody's
Well,
targeting tarpon. But there's a ton out there.
If
you
you
want
to go to catch one, you can luck up. All right, I could tell you exactly what to do, and you could go there and catch one in the first 5 minutes, or you might not catch one for 50 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, we've got it down to where we can consistently see them, usually jump one or catch one in a day. We've got it down to a little bit of a science.
Okay.
Working on them that much. Like I said, it takes a lot of dedication. Most of the work is cell phone calls after we get off the boat, talking about what we could do different.
Yeah.
So you said you put a bay tower in for spot casting, right?
Man, that changed it.
Yeah.
Getting to see that vantage point from up top, it changed a lot of the game. But before we get off subject, I wanted to talk about that state record fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happened with it? So we had Craig Brumfield. He came and did a painting.
I was
It's
going to ask
stud.
about that, man.
He's the man. Craig's
Dude,
the man.
it's phenomenal.
We were looking at that photo
Yeah.
before you
he's,
got here.
He's laying down next to it. It's
He
as
does
big
awesome.
as him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that
awesome.
that thing turned out
Yeah.
because I somewhere, I think it was on your charter boat Facebook page, you had just the Craig shared the time lapse, then just the fish, and
Yeah.
then he went back in and did the background, correct, with
Yeah.
the boat
Well,
over.
yeah. Y'all
that
holding
was
it. You were
last
holding
year's.
it,
That
right?
was last year's with the boat over it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one. That
Oh,
was,
so that's a separate painting.
That wasn't a killed fish. We took the length of it
Okay.
and the girth, and I
Okay.
gave it to Craig, and he did a reproduction of it.
Okay.
I forget
That's
what he
pretty
calls it,
sweet,
some other
yeah.
name.
It's
but
badass.
That
man.
one's awesome. I actually have my boat in the background with Dr. Jim on the
Right,
boat.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's really neat. But the actual gyutaku was done.
I couldn't say it.
Yeah.
Sashimi. I called it
The actual sashimi was done.
Goku. Yeah,
Yeah.
Goku. Yeah, it was not right.
It was done with the dead fish that we.
Yeah.
The
That's the
one
one
we
where
brought
he's
in.
laying it. He's as big
Yeah.
as him. That's
So
sick.
from that mold,
I'll link all this in the video when we put this on
Yes.
Facebook. All these what you're talking about.
yeah. So from him doing that, he can now use that as a scale for anybody else. Say you go catch one, next year, and you want to get it done. He can use that. He'll shrink it down or expand it and do the girth, and
Right.
he'll get you the right size.
Yeah.
And then he comes back in and hand paints over it. So I mean, it's still special. It's just
Yeah,
you don't have
so
to kill
even
the
if-
fish.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a fiberglass
Yeah,
reproduction,
yeah.
just a whole lot cooler.
Yeah.
It's Craig's doing it.
So what? And then from there, I gave it to the research lab, and we went over there. They dissected it and all, and whatever they wanted to do with it, study it, age it, and then what they did was really cool with it that helped us in research is they actually stuck darts in it because we were having trouble with the dart heads with the tarpon. With the sat tags we were putting in the tarpon,
falling out.
they were
Yeah.
falling out all the time.
Yeah, when Joey almost made all that money and didn't tell me about it.
So they tried some different dart heads, and they kept sticking the tarpon and where they should do it, studying the anatomy of it, and they figured out where we could do it. So this year, after that, we tagged 4 with nude tags, and
Yeah.
they're still out.
Way better, yeah.
'Cause, those
So-
things that's like chainmail. The scales on
yeah.
them. You got to.
That's
crazy.
hard, and getting to learn how to do that process, learning with us and the guys at the lab, it was a work in progress, but we figured it out. We got it down to a science now. But then they took that tarpon and they're giving it to a museum in Texas, and they're going to take the skeleton of it and hang it up in a museum over there.
Oh wow!
cool.
So
That's super.
people will see it forever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
He
the
didn't,
best.
he didn't die in vain.
No, he didn't. So after all that, I was like, man, yeah, wasn't a bad deal.
Yeah.
Glad you didn't
You
let
know?
it go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he didn't swim away. I'm glad he was, on his way out anyway. But
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So,
Go ahead.
what do you think they're doing? Do they follow the same spawn as like a Kobe or something like that? Is that why they're following kind of the same path where they go from Florida back down to Venice and then come back from Venice back down to Florida? Is it the same way?
I had a guy from South Carolina tell me when I was starting to do this, and a good buddy, he was like, you can pattern them. They're very patternable. They're going to go to the same spot pretty much the same year, the same time. They've been doing it. They're dinosaurs. They've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
time.
those fish, we have there's 2 different migration paths. You got ones that come from Florida down up the Panhandle, out Dauphin Island to us, and then circle down to Venice
Yeah.
and go offshore a little bit and make the circle back around. Then you have some that we're working on learning. They come from the Yucatan Peninsula and they come straight up, pretty much past Louisiana into Mississippi, and they go back down behind Chandelier and go back down south.
Wow.
So that's what we found out a little bit so far.
Okay.
The doctors and them know a lot
Yeah.
more than I do about
Yeah.
it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
it's a constant learning curve,
It's
too.
got to be,
Yeah.
spawning or feeding or something.
Yeah.
Hunting grounds,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
They
I don't
know
know
where
why
to
they
get the
do
food too.
They're so hard.
Yeah.
It's such a hard fish.
What are they? What's their food of choice? Is it anything specialized, or are they just opportunistic? Obviously, probably some of that. But is there anything special?
Man, they actually feed around here. I found out that on a lot of Spanish mackerel.
Okay.
Really?
They feed on crabs drifting in the
Like
water.
they do the big mullet run down there where it's just
Mullet.
big, gigantic schools of mullet.
Mullet,
tarpon
crabs,
smashing in
Yeah.
between it.
Called them leatherbacks.
Damn.
So nothing out of the ordinary, really.
No.
Yeah,
pretty
just
much.
regular.
They'll pretty much eat anything.
Right.
They really will.
They hungry.
They're not
Yeah.
picky eaters. They're
Right.
picky when they want to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When they want to be caught. Huh?
Do you usually find them schooled up
Yeah.
or single?
Schools.
Schools,
It's almost
usually running
always a
pods.
school. Come across some. You call them singles, but it's usually like 4 or 5. You can
Yeah.
find them 4 or 5 hanging around. Usually always big packs though.
All the same size running together?
Pretty
big,
much.
Small,
Yeah,
or-
it's funny. So you're out there so much, and you'll be out there for 3 or 4 days, and you'll see these tarpon that look like they're from 60 to 110 pounds. Those, and then all of a sudden those will leave, and a new batch will come in, and they're the big ones. They're 100 to 200 pound fish. So that's
they
something
run in
I'm.
pods.
Yep, that's something I'm trying to figure out and zone
why
in
they
on.
do that,
Yeah,
yeah.
those pods, or What I'm really trying to figure out is when the big ones are coming in. I used to just want to catch a tarpon. Now I want to catch all of the tarpon and the biggest tarpon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's my goals have changed quite a bit.
Sound like a hunter and a fisherman.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it goes. Man, I forgot what you brought something up. So like you said, you don't normally fire up your engine, right? Because that scares them off, right? So
please don't.
No. So when you land one, whether you kept it and it's the record or you release it and it lives, can you still catch in that same spot after that one has shook and done his thing, or
Absolutely.
is that okay?
Absolutely, for sure. You gotta, like I said, man, you gotta drift it out. You have to drift. You gotta have the right people on your boat too.
Okay.
You know, you can't have that guy that's like, look, they're over there, they're over there. You might see one 200 yards to the right, and your buddy's like, man, they're over there, they're over there. If you go that way, they've already moved by then.
Right.
You need to split,
So you
cut the
gotta stay
boat
your
in half.
same-
Yeah, you can't.
Same pattern.
Yeah,
Same drift plan.
You got to stay true to your drift plan and drift it all the way out. And then when you make your big loop and come back around, then you can, I use the tower. I get up in the tower and I look for slicks and see which way I want to
Pull through
drift
the
into
slick,
them. Yeah. You burn some trolling motor battery up, that's for sure.
I bet, especially out there.
Yeah, absolutely. In that open water.
Yeah.
This
ain't the river,
gotta-
which
gotta
even the
have
river
good-
moves
good
pretty
trolling
good too
motor.
sometimes.
Good trolling
but-
motor.
Yeah. And man, that iPilot's changed
Oh,
that.
yeah. You
Dude,
sit there
that
and do
thing is
this.
legit.
I couldn't do it without it. I don't
Yeah.
think. I don't know
Oh,
how
on
you
your
did
phone?
it. Yeah.
No, it's
No.
a
No,
little,
it's a little remote.
Oh.
Yeah.
a lot of people wear it like around their neck. You just hold it and
A little different
Oh,
on
no
the
shit.
hand.
Dude, they have anchor mode on these things now.
spot lock.
Yeah, spot lock, whatever. You hit a spot and it keeps your boat right there within wind and current
Well,
issues.
yeah,
I'm sure,
yeah.
but it's pretty
Within
legit.
a certain
It's pretty legit.
Pretty
science.
legit.
Yeah. So are you gonna now moving forward? Like you said, you're gonna block these months out where you're tarpon only. What's your game plan on the marketing strategy outside of doing stuff like this? Like, are you reaching out, Facebook groups, or obviously you're sharing your thing and telling it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like how do you do that?
Still working on it.
Still working on it.
Still
Okay,
working on it
yeah.
a little
Work-
bit. I got
yeah.
some ideas. I'm not crazy over Facebook, but only because
Hey, me either.
no, I like Facebook.
Well, whatever it is, Instagram
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
just any kind of social media.
I share on there. I do. I like it, but it's I don't know. It can hurt you more than it can help you sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Obviously, I'm not going to share pics when I'm catching them right away. It's going
Right.
to draw more attention.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I mean, but you got to share some stuff to start this new.
they got to see
smart.
that you can
Yeah,
produce.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the new venture. You got to share it
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit
Dock,
of it.
dock, well, because you can't bring them to the dock though, so
Yeah.
you don't have the red snapper where they're all hanging on the board. Either. You gotta think about that.
It's all about that classic picture.
Yeah.
Holding its mouth and then the release. Seeing
Right.
that fish swim off is the most gratifying thing ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
After
I'll
you've
bet.
conquered it,
Yeah.
and putting a satellite tag in it and
That's
having a healthy
super sweet.
fish was
Yeah.
awesome. And it
Yeah.
was,
Then
that
you can see if somebody else catches it,
Yeah.
and where it's going, and all that other stuff. That's cool.
But I got to answer the question more in depth is I ordered a brand new boat for next season, and it's pretty much strictly for tarpon fishing, and I can still trout fish in it too.
Okay.
What is it? What is it? Spill the beans.
Young 27 got the hat
yeah.
on for it.
Oh, there you
They
go.
sent it to me in the mail.
Oh, you got the free hat, I see.
Yeah, they gave me a
Buy a boat,
free
get a
hat.
Yeah.
And
Buy
a
boat.
T-shirt. All I had to
Thanks
do
for
was
spending
buy
it.
it,
Thanks
sell
for
my
spending this
soul
money to
to
get this hat. Yeah.
sell my
So
soul to a
where
boat note.
are they at?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of
They're
that.
in down by Crystal River, Florida. It's a custom built boat. It's 27.7 long. It'll have twin engines. It's set up kind of like a contender style. It's all open a little bit. I was thinking about a contender a little bit to get it, and I actually looked at one, but I just didn't think it would do everything because I still got a trout fish.
It's a deep V. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you fish now? What do you fish?
I got a 23 Hydrosport.
Okay.
And I absolutely love it, but it gets rocky out there.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it does good. The boat does great. I take it everywhere, but I need that a little bit bigger boat with twin engines. So I can set up my spread out the back. It's got more like a sport fish cockpit style on the back. Set up my poles in the front. It's all open. So I get a lot of older guys and women that fish anyways for trout, and them stepping up all the time on the bow of the boat. It's back and forth. I just want it,
Lose a balance
one
and
level.
everything,
They
yeah.
can go all the way to the front. The boat will still be able to drift Cat Island, cat and ship, and I went down there. It's custom built, so it's going to take 7 months to build, but you're hands on with it.
You
I
can
think
do what
it's
you want with it.
yeah,
How many cup holders was on it?
18.
18.
That's an important question.
Yeah.
$3,000 a couple.
Yeah, really. No shit.
You're probably not far off. From
Yeah.
that.
No, they're great. It's not bad. I mean, it's gonna last a long time. I've always wanted to upgrade a little bit, but I can't find anything today with the bay boats. They make them different than they used to, man. That bay boat I have is a 06, and the fiberglass on that thing is 2 inches thick.
Is that the Hydro Sport had a Kevlar hole? Did you have a Kevlar hole on yours? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's that.
Is that good or bad?
That's the good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the good
I didn't know
stuff.
if you.
Yeah.
They're just I couldn't find something that satisfied me or something that would make sense for me to upgrade because
Right.
I love my boat as it is.
Yeah.
I like the width, so nothing made sense. But I found something that could do both styles of fishing.
Offshore, inshore,
that I wouldn't
be able to get
regret
skinny
getting rid of
and-
my boat.
right.
You know, financially, it's nuts, man. It's hard enough making it as a charter boat captain, but buying a new boat is
It's a house note.
it is.
It's crazy.
Is that company been around for a little while, Joe? You said you never even heard of them, right?
I have it. Is that's
They've been around for 20 years.
Oh,
They
shit.
started making this boat in 2016. Actually, Rick Riles of the Florida Sportsman Best Boat Show, he runs it and owns it. So that said a lot to me when I talked to him, and he tests boats every single day and
Right.
films it for the TV show. For him to own that boat, that went a long way for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's so.
now. What they built this boat for? I mean, is that
Just-
who they target? Tarpon, or they just
No,
start with
no,
everything
just
else?
everything
Yeah.
else.
They're just a
down
super
there.
custom boat that you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. No, I'm
It's a
looking.
boutique boat.
So that's to get back on subject a little. I'm doing that to get more business and for me to be able to fish different areas.
Right.
If they're not around Cat or Ship or Horn, I can run out to Chandelier and we'll be there in 20 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
because they're always around there too at Shandy. These tarpon move. They might be in our neck of the woods for 3 days, but then they're gone. So you
Right.
got to find them.
Yeah.
And I think it'll help me,
Track
stay
them
on
down
top
a
of them
little
better.
Gotcha.
Is so that question kind of the marketing question about marketing your business as a tarpon business. What are there any tournaments around here for that? In Mississippi, I guess, for tarpon.
No, not yet, and
Okay.
it'll probably be
And
that way.
I was going to ask though, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing from your perspective?
Well, one thing is the coast is definitely not ready for a tarpon tournament. There's 3 people that fish them.
Okay.
I
you know.
vaguely
well,
remember.
wouldn't people come from? Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be an out of town fisherman and come and
No,
do that here because you wouldn't know where to go.
No, you could. I think me and Cam actually were talking about doing one eventually. Sometimes,
Well,
pull some people
they
over.
do a lot of stuff at their brewery for tarpon too, right?
Absolutely,
They do.
yeah.
One of the
They
videos
are.
that I saw was y'all there. I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The heading south.
Yep. Yep.
So they sponsor the Mississippi State tarpon tagging program. They're
Yeah.
one of the sponsors, and they actually go out there and off of Dauphin Island and do it. We
Right.
tried to do it here one day, but when you know it, we didn't see any, or we didn't have a good day,
Right.
But lost my train of thought.
The tournament, whether or not we do
Yeah.
the tournament. or not.
Tournaments. No, I don't think Mississippi's ready for that yet. Maybe down the road it would be a good thing.
I vaguely remember, like back in the day when I used to fish the Mississippi Deep Sea Rodeo, there would be a tarpon
Yeah.
division, and I'm like,
They-
who the hell catches tarpon in Mississippi? I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense, and it never got filled. Nobody ever won anything from it.
Right.
They stopped
then-
doing it because there
Yeah,
wasn't
they
many
took it
brought in.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So no, I don't think Mississippi would be ready for it right now. Eventually, yeah, I do think there would be a something. I mean, I put on the speckled trout shootout.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
I run tournaments, so I would love to do it, but I don't see the potential in it quite yet, but it could be something down the road. I would.
Just to kind of draw awareness to that.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
it is going on.
Yeah. Hey, we got him over here.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
So we fished the Grand Isle Tarpon Rodeo this year, and before I get into that,
Yep.
the week before was the Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. We had the best weekend of our life fishing, and I didn't enter that tournament because here I am.
Oh,
you
That's
know,
how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
here
yeah.
3 years into tarpon fishing. I'm still learning a lot every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. We got very, very good at it this year. Was definitely your breakthrough, but I thought there's no way in hell that I'm ready to fish a tarpon tournament. Well, that weekend on Friday, we went 3 for 3 on tarpon, which is definitely unheard of here.
No doubt.
Even Grand Isle, that's really good numbers.
Yeah.
Saturday was a washout, and I think we caught 2 on Sunday. So we had the I don't know if my numbers are all right there. I think it was actually 6 caught from Thursday to Sunday. But we would have won the Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo Tarpon tournament had we entered.
That's pretty good money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more fame too. I mean, that's what you're.
You can keep tagging that along to help. Hey, we won this, we won this.
That's
we
your
know what we're doing.
That's your resume.
So the next weekend was the Grand Isle tournament, and I called my buddy Rhett, and my other buddy Mark had to work at Chandelier, and called my buddy Jonathan and Sawyer, and I was like, hey, let's do it. Let's enter. Mr. David said he'll enter it for us. So we're fishing against all the giants over there that have been doing it since we weren't
guys
even
who
around.
taught you what to do.
Yeah. And we're like, all right. So we just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. So we sit there on the first day, the first morning, we jump one, and it got off. I don't know how it got off, but never mind.
Yeah,
that fish got off. All right, so the next day, Friday, and by the way, the whole entire weekend, it is blowing its butt off. It is rough. We're almost taking waves over the bow and the stern sometimes, but we were devoted to it, and we were doing it. I had 6 trolling motor batteries for that tournament. So Friday, we jump another one, fight it for a little while, it gets off. By the way, if you're going to tarpon fish, you better get used to heartbreaks because you're going to jump a lot of fish. Once you get good at it, they're going to get off, but just keep going. You got to keep going. Yeah. So Saturday, we never bring beer on the boat. We never do. Never for a tournament. When we're tournament fishing, we're there to
I get that.
work.
Yeah.
All right. So we're like, man, we only have till noon to fish anyways. Even if we caught something, we would have to run down to Grand Isle and turn it in. Yeah. So we sat there and we're like, all right, let's just enjoy ourselves. Let's start having a couple beers.
That's it.
So we do that.
That is it.
You have to talk Corey into shit.
A couple beers
It's
later.
like it's 10 o'clock. We've had like 2 beers each, whatever. Just taking the load off just a little bit. Didn't have long to fish. We were actually planning on just go back to the house or cook out or something after.
Yeah.
Right.
So the line goes off, and man, we're like, oh man, it's there. Nobody's caught a fish yet in the entire rodeo tournament.
Oh,
not one fish was caught.
Yeah.
Terrible conditions, and it goes off. I had actually went to the bow and sat down and just like, darn, man, we had 2 on the past 2 days. We could have won this thing. And then zzz, goes off the back, and we're like, oh, we're on. So our game faces got on real quick. Yeah. And my buddy Sawyer got to fight his first fish ever. First tarpon ever. He destroyed it. He did very well.
Hell yeah.
And it ends up winning the Grand Isle International Tarpon
Some
Rodeo.
lucky beers, man.
I was about to say, it's all because of the beers.
Against all the guys who taught you.
Against
what you
them
know.
all. And it was a big tarpon, and we actually could have killed it for the killfish division. But we weren't going to do that because I knew it wasn't even state record potential. Yeah. There's no reason. We'd have to tote it to Grand Isle. So we catch that fish. We had to videotape it, the catch and release, everything, getting the hook out and sending it off. And then, dude, that feeling, I'll remember that feeling forever, too. That was something incredible. We didn't even know what we did.
Yeah.
We're just some goons out there fishing our first tarpon tournament, I wouldn't say goons.
How do we get back to the dock?
Yeah. So we get back to the dock. No, we didn't have that many beers. We knew how to get back to the dock.
Yeah.
So we get back, and we all sit there. We take a shower real quick. We hop in the truck. We go to Grand Isle, and then that's when we actually started partying after we won the tournament.
Absolutely.
Well,
that night was incredible.
I'm about to say, you got bragging rights, right? You're down there like,
you're down there with the guys that showed you how to just start it up. It's crazy.
Real quick, on Friday, we got that fish to the boat, and I was using some new crimps that I got. And I hand tight. I mean, I checked them all. Every single one of my crimps with the leader material, I checked them all before that tournament, man. And had one right by the boat. We're filming it. I grab him. I grab the leader, and I have control of the fish a little bit. I mean, not 100%, but it pops. Comes back, and it's my freaking crimp.
It slid through it?
Yeah. The line slipped through. And I was just like,
oh, man.
The buddies, those crimps tomorrow.
Yeah. My buddies looked at me, and I was just like, man, that's my fault.
Guys.
That's my fault. I'm never going to live that down.
Hey, but you got to own it. Yeah. You got to own it.
Never going to live that one down.
That brand of crimp, or what was it? I mean, what?
Without
I don't
naming
know,
names.
man.
I mean, sometimes
No.
well, I was gonna say, let's name the name.
I don't know.
Sometimes shit happens, though, right? I mean,
Man, it honestly could have been me. It could have been the crimp failure. I didn't get it tight enough on there. Maybe I didn't pull it as hard. But it was a big fish. It was bigger than the one that we actually landed. And, I don't know. My buddies kind of picked me up after that. They're like, just don't worry about it,
dude,
Drink this beer. Don't worry about it.
I convinced them to fish it anyway.
There you go.
that kind of shit's gonna happen no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah,
you do.
anything you do,
I
absolutely.
went home that night. I was so hard on myself. I was like, I just throw away this tournament. I was like, I never thought we could win it, but then we had it won. We had the video. We sent the video in, and they didn't accept it. And I was like, I know.
Because of
Because y'all
the.
didn't have it close enough to
Well,
the
the
boat.
rules are
Leader.
rules.
Right.
Okay.
You
all right.
you have to
Yeah.
leader the fish, and you have to release it. Well, we leadered it, but
It popped.
we released
popped.
it, but it was a pop.
It was like a forced release.
Yeah. You could tell it was a tarpon in the video, whatever.
Technicalities.
So
Man.
that's why it was awesome. We got these awesome trophies. I mean, we partied the night away, came home the next morning.
Totally redeemed yourself.
That's
Yeah,
it.
the next
That's
day, it was amazing. We're gonna fish that forever.
Grand Isle's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great fishery.
David will hate this, but I don't think he's ever won it, and he's been doing it for 30
Oh.
years.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. I'm gonna clip that.
That's
Send
it.
to him.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the
Nah,
haymaker right
I'm
there.
just missing. Him and his wife we're really proud of us, and
Yeah.
we're a
Good,
product
yeah.
of them. So
That's it.
That's awesome.
it's fun. You gotta have that camaraderie.
Absolutely,
doubt.
and the jabs too.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's anything.
Well,
yeah.
he's probably just as proud as you though, as you are taking jabs at him. For him showing you what's going on.
He let me know. He called me the other day. I think it was October 10th. He's like, "Hey, you didn't call me, bruh." He's got that coon ass accent.
yeah.
You gotta love it. Hey, bruh, you didn't call me. I was like, "Why would I call you?" He's like, "It was my anniversary." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "It was when I caught my state record, 246 pounds. If you didn't know."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Bigger than what you got.
"Yeah, way bigger than the one
Way
you
bigger
caught."
than what you got.
He reminded you of where you come from.
Yeah,
That's
he had
good.
to put you back
Yeah.
in. He had to
That's
put
good.
you
He
back
let me
in
know,
check.
and I was like, "All right,
I like that, man.
all right."
That's good.
You'll get him one day, and then you
Yeah.
get to call him.
That's killer.
Yeah, it was fun. We're gonna do it again. Definitely do it again. Probably do the Alabama one. We just had we were in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
on that trip.
That's it.
Funny how that works out when you're putting in the work, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're out there doing it.
Still
so.
got to do your homework.
Dude,
Yep.
it really
You
is hard.
got to find the spot with your homework to be in the right spot.
Anybody else, out there that are thinking about doing it, you need to read some stuff. You need to read up on them. You need to get the appropriate tackle. And one thing you got to do is once you get that, I mean, it's the best feeling in the world. It's like somebody killing a trophy buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every single tarpon is that trophy buck. So you just educate yourself. I've had one piece of advice for people to do it. And, in today's world, when you're out there fishing, just enjoy it. Everybody's in such a rush out there, yet you see it. And everybody's fishing for Facebook nowadays.
Yeah, to
Fish
show
for
off
your
what they
soul.
caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
So
fish.
I do a lot of the inshore I kayak fish and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and
right.
I got heavily into it over the last year with a buddy of mine. That's some of my favorite. I put my phone up,
Yeah.
and I just go out there and fish.
That's what you're
I don't
there
think
for.
I mean, it's the best in the world. Like, it's
Everybody
such
wants
a
to catch a fish and put it on.
Yeah, look
the
what I got.
local
And it's like,
fishing
no, like,
reports
I'm-
and say,
Yeah.
hey, look at
we
this
enjoy
guy.
the time. We would do 3 days at Deer Island and drag our kayaks and kayak out, and you can't beat that, man, because
No.
it's just you. You're unplugged for a little bit,
I like the unplugged and
and
absolutely.
it helps.
But still, though, you got to take that picture, like you said,
Yeah.
and kind of like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, when
Well,
you
I've got-
catch a stud,
My
man.
biggest
Who's
redfish
the
I
baddest?
posted, but I mean, I was like, it's the biggest one I ever caught.
Everybody's been taking pictures of their trophies forever.
Yeah, it's
and
just now we
hanging
have
them on
place
the
to
wall.
put 'em.
Yeah, now you
Yeah.
just got an easier way to
The world's the wall.
to stick it in somebody's
Yeah.
face. You know,
Fishermen
So-
are braggers by nature.
Oh,
They are.
Hunters,
absolutely.
fishers,
Yeah.
any kind of competitive sport.
Yep.
That's part of it, and that's, I think, a good part of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
Well,
it is.
it's what
fun.
keeps it that way. Because
Yeah.
now he's got something, I got to beat it.
Yeah,
you know
you
what I'm
do,
saying? That's
you
where
know?
it's at. Yeah, absolutely.
My buddy's gunning for me.
Yeah,
I know.
and that's it.
Mark is,
Well,
and I
and that's-
embrace it. I want
gives
to.
you that,
I want
that
him to beat
goal
me.
to work towards to learn what do I got to do to beat this guy.
Yeah.
So let me put in the work, like you said, the studying and the researching
Yeah.
to beat that guy.
It's
So there,
it's
you know?
life, man. It's emotions that you go through and
That's
you feel. My buddy's gonna beat me. I know he is. He'll beat me or whatever. He'll catch more
Yeah.
one day or whatever, and I'm gonna be like, man.
Well, I gotta beat him.
The next day, I'm gonna beat him.
Yeah.
It's what gets you up every day.
One thing advice is David told me, he's like, dude, you have to stay humble tarpon fishing because you're gonna be okay. So a quick story on that is, me and Mark's beside me, and I go 2 for 2 one day, and he doesn't get a bite. And I was bringing one of my other friends that never fishes before, and he caught his first 2 tarpon ever that day. Well, you know, a week later, I'm beside him, and he's caught 2 for 2. I jump on and I don't get it. The feeling sucks when you're beside somebody and you don't get one. But you got to remember, just stay humble and stay the course, because the next day, it doesn't matter. Once you get the gist of tarpon fishing, I mean, you got it. Some people are going to be better. Just as you get what you put into it.
Right.
But somebody's always going to catch more than you one day, you know. But you can beat them easily the next day.
No doubt, no doubt. I've had that happen speckled trout fishing. There's somebody standing or on a boat right next to us when specifically this happened, lighting it up, and we're like throwing in the same spots, doing the same movements, using the same bait, and he's just doing it.
Hold your mouth wrong.
Yeah. I would have believed at that point. I would have believed anything you told me as to what I was doing wrong. You know, you're not breathing right or something. I'm like, it's just not working. But what if people want to find you?
I was just about to say, quick plug.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I think this was good, man. I think
Yeah,
this
it
was
went
good.
really
Had a lot of fun.
And
Appreciate
we can do this as many times as you want, man. Like, honest to God, I'm glad you came in. I really appreciate you coming in and doing
You'll
this.
leave, and then we'll be like, damn, we should have asked him this.
Well,
So
that's
there's always room
Hey,
for
I'm
more.
gonna call this-
Well, you got a plug on the Spec and the Specs, right?
That's what
you
I was
do,
going
right?
to ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
That you got your tournament coming up.
Yeah.
Right?
Plug away everything.
Yeah,
definitely.
Let's do the tournament first. Let's talk about that. So when's that coming up?
May 16th, I believe the date is.
Oh, so it's a little while out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So we're starting to, real quick on that. We'll probably come back and do a podcast on
Yeah,
that.
Oh,
We got
I
a lot
hope.
to
Absolutely.
say, but
Yeah, I hope.
something to help it out real quick before we wrap up is this tournament's put on by tournament anglers for tournament anglers. And all the local communities and businesses, they all donate money. Our sponsorships come from them. Every penny of that goes into the pot. None of us take a dime. I usually go in the hole to put on this tournament because
I know what you're talking about.
and then and then every single dollar from the entry fees goes into the pot and is distributed.
Oh, cool.
So there's nothing, and we leave that out there in the open.
It's
Look,
a legitimate
we've,
winner take all.
Yeah, we've raised this money. It's a big fruit jar tournament basically,
Cool.
and it's just awesome. It's taken off. We got a lot of anglers, and anybody out there that wants to just get in contact with me if you're interested in a sponsorship, it goes back to the community, and it just keeps raising money.
And that's just a speckled trout tournament? Is that
Yes,
what y'all- just-
5 biggest speckled trout tournament, the only shotgun start on the coast. You got 12 hours to fish. Your 5 biggest ones come back. We check your boats before you leave in the morning. It's an awesome
Is
atmosphere.
that a Long Beach?
At a Long Beach
Long Beach
Harbor.
Harbor.
Did we say the official name of the tournament?
Gulf Coast Speckled Trout Shootout.
Gulf
Okay.
Coast.
And if
Shootout.
if a sponsor wants to get in touch with you for that, or somebody that's looking to compete in May, shoot you a message on your
Shoot us a message on Facebook, or you can call me.
and say that Facebook page again so people know.
The Facebook page is actually Speckled Trout Shootout.
Okay.
All right. The name of the tournament's Gulf Coast Speckled Trout Shootout.
Okay. So send it there. Send it to Brown Water. We'll kick it over to you.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
get involved if you want to be involved.
It's just fun. We're gonna have a lot of bands there this year, and a lot of other stuff going down. There you go. Y'all might be able to help me out with it.
Yeah, we can. We do a little music, as you can tell around here.
We
too.
haven't
perked up.
booked anything
Corey,
yet, but
perked
we're
up.
looking into different stuff.
We'll talk after the show. And
We
see if
want-
can help you
I
out.
know a guy.
Yeah.
We just want to party. That's what it's all about, is the atmosphere.
We were just talking about this before you got.
That's our motto, dude.
Yeah.
We just want
Yeah.
to party.
Fish and
So,
party.
so the tournament.
You're combining everything I like.
got
You
no
said
shit.
beer. We got
at the
music.
end, everything just
Yeah.
culminated together. You got the tournament, and then if they want to book if somebody's listening, like pumped up about tarpon fishing, I'm ready to do this shit.
Rage.
To hell with the speckled
Yeah.
trout. Let's get
Yeah.
one of these trophy tarpon. Where do they need to contact you at, and when is the best time?
months, yeah, the
You need
months.
to you need to contact me somewhat soon, but spots will fill up. We
Yeah,
got
okay.
we have another boat available, but you can go to stillwaterfishingms.com. You can book me,
StillwaterFishingMS.com. Gotcha.
Yeah. Or you could give me a call 228-697-9002. I'll talk your
That's
ear
easy
off
enough.
about it.
Nice. So hopefully some people, if you're into it, you're listening to this, you're watching this, whatever the case may be. Let's do it, man. Let's
Get
see
a
if we
once
can.
in a lifetime Mississippi fish.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Record setter. You get to go with a record setter
He's
for
been
crying out loud. Like,
That's it. He's out there putting in the work. So let's see what we can reel
champ.
in.
Yeah, call us too in the winter. We still trout fish. And I think we're pretty good at it.
That bread and butter. Bread and butter,
So we can afford that boat.
Yeah,
there you
no
go.
doubt.
Your man's
Got
got
bills
notes.
to pay.
Yeah, he's got notes
Help
to
him.
pay. Is there any other social media things we need to talk about? Like
No,
plugs?
I think
That
we're
we
good.
got it. We
Yeah.
got it. Okay. So look, man. Once again, Corey and Joey, to hell with you guys.
just found these magnets on here. I've been mesmerized for about 20 minutes.
Yep. Thanks for coming out, man. And
appreciate it.
let's do it
man.
again. Let's do it again in a couple months down the road, and we'll talk it up some more.
We'll push that tournament.
Work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Absolutely.
Thanks.